What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. So today we've got a DD13 Cascadia. This thing is gonna be a, what year is this bad boy? 2017, 2018. Got a coolant leak. The reservoir up on top, for some reason this thing is kind of busting at the seams. Okay, if you can see that there, it's busting at the seams. Got a little bit of a pull down there, so we're gonna go ahead and get this fixed and addressed right away. So the first thing I wanna do, we're gonna set up some stuff to catch the coolant. Obviously, we don't wanna dump it and lose it. There's a couple ways you can go about dumping it. There is a drain, if I'm not mistaken, at the bottom of the radiator. What I like to do is kind of work a little differently. If you can, okay, if you're familiar with the truck itself, on the driver's side, between the fuel filter and the oil filter module, right in the middle, I'm gonna zoom in on that. Bear with me, guys, bear with me. Right back there. There we go. I'm gonna try to point with it with my finger. Right there, not up there, right there, okay? That's the drain that goes on the side of the block. You're gonna need a 19 mil socket. Proceed with caution. Every now and then those do get stuck in there because it's an aluminum piece, the drain, and obviously the engine block itself is not aluminum. So you should be able to loosen that up pretty quick. You are gonna need a hose so you can drain everything and catch everything either in a catch pan or 2 clean buckets, whatever works for you guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get that started right now. Let it drain and go from there. So there's a few accessories you're gonna need to get out of the way. I'm gonna try to document most of this as best I can. Take the CAC hose out of the way just so you have a little bit more room. This hose right back here where my finger is, there's a clamp. You can loosen that clamp up. However, this has the factory sealed clamp. You're gonna need to cut it. Be careful so you don't cut the hose. You don't have to replace it, just simply cut it there. Unplug this sensor. You got a couple points of contact. You've got one here, bottom left. Got one there, there, and there. So it looks like we've got 4 points of contact on the top. I'm gonna show you the new replacement one that we're gonna use. We're gonna use an aftermarket one, just we're gonna save the customer a little bit of money. Times are a little tough right now, so these are things that obviously you wanna take care of. So again, complaint, look at that. This thing's kind of busting at the seams. Anyway, let me show you the replacement one and we'll go from there, guys. Here is the replacement product. Okay, it's made by Ottoman. They've been around for a while. I think it's gonna be hopefully a reliable one. As you can see, there is the part number for the reservoir itself from our local Freightliner Velocity. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So again, here we go. So here's your points of contact that I was showing you above the radiator. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got another one down here and possibly one here on the side. So that's pretty much it, straightforward as far as the way it gets mounted on there. You're still gonna have a hose here, return line there. So you've got a little bit, a lot of similarities. Let's take a quick look at the replacement. Open this side up. Obviously, last thing you wanna do is drop this thing. Here we go. So it does come with a coolant level sensor, and again, seems like it's a straight R&R. So right now what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the hose. Chavo's gonna help us out. Chavo, saluda. All right, guys, we've got our wrench, our ratchet down there. We got our socket. We're gonna go ahead and drain it like I showed you guys. Right back, there we go, just beneath the fuel lines. So I'm gonna try to record as best I can. If not, I'll show you guys the after. Alrighty, guys, so I went ahead and loosened it up. Unfortunately, I could not record it, but if you see the extension here, you're gonna see where the socket goes right there to the block. You're gonna need a hose, something like that, just so you can get over it. You are gonna spill some, so again, make sure you get a catch pan. You're gonna need probably 2 buckets, maybe even 3, depending on the application. So anywhere from 10 gallons to 12 gallons. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna show you guys. And alrighty, guys. So one thing I wanna recommend, of course, don't make a mess like the way I'm making one right now. You're gonna need to get a hose. You're gonna need to slip it right over just like that. Now you may need to do something to hold it in place. Catch it there in the bucket. I recommend do not take the cap off until you're ready to do so. Once you do that, take the cap off the top. It's gonna drain it all down. Hold on, guys. There we go. It's looking like a Blair Witch project here. I recommend you don't need to drop all the antifreeze out. You could probably just get away with doing about maybe, I say more or less about a good 4 to 5 gallons. If you feel comfortable removing everything, go ahead and do so. Just kind of be prepared to maybe have to hold this hose in place while it does that. I'm gonna get something to hopefully tie it in, and this way I don't have to kind of stay here for 30 minutes or so. But anyway, you guys get the general idea. So you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. So you get a pretty good idea. See where my finger is, follow that hose, and there you go, guys. We'll be back. Alrighty, guys, so here is a top view of the coolant surge tank or expansion tank or whatever they call it now, reservoir. A few things you're gonna need to do. Of course, you're gonna take out these little points of contact, as I mentioned earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your hose, you're gonna have the hose that goes to the EGR cooler, and then from the surge tank, it goes over to the actual radiator itself, but it's gonna have these factory clamps. They're kind of a heat shrink, so you're gonna need something like this, or you can use a knife. Just be careful when you're cutting it this way, you don't have to damage the hose, and you can reuse that hose itself. Just obviously you need a clamp now at that point. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna go ahead and loosen this up. The top bolt, if I am not mistaken, it should be a, yep, 13 mil. Let's see. I know on some of these, they actually get stuck in there, and the radiator piece that retains this starts to spin and just creates, you know, a freaking nightmare, in my opinion. So anyway, let's go ahead and get this, let's going. All right, guys, let me stand up here. There we go. There we go. Just gonna put that over there off to the side. Hold on. I'm gonna leave that one on just a little bit. Chavito, permíteme. Déjame poner el tornillo un poquito más. There we go. I'm just gonna leave one loose, and we're gonna go ahead and take that one off there. Okay. Let me go ahead and get the little cutting wheel. We're gonna cut this off, do the same thing over here, and that's pretty much it. Chavo's working on the other side right now, so pretty straightforward. Alrighty, guys, sorry, I think I actually did not hit the record button. So that's kind of how we're gonna do that. We're gonna cut that there. Again, you're gonna need a screwdriver and maybe some pliers, so we can go ahead and just kind of break that clamp loose. Do the same thing here, and this thing is pretty much ready to come out. So kind of hard to record, but give you guys the general idea of what we're doing here. Alrighty, guys, little side angle. Chavo's gonna go ahead and work on that side over there. He went ahead and cut this little clamp. Actually, he does it far better than I do. He uses a knife or a razor, and as you can see, look at that, no damage at all. So we've got another bolt right down there, and I think that's pretty much it. So again, 4 points of contact on the top. You got one over here, and it's gonna be a 13, so probably need a little short socket. Once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and pull this thing out, install our new one, connect everything all over again, and go from there, guys. So there we go. There we go, guys. So you get the general idea. You're gonna have to get that clamp out of there. Again, you're gonna need 3 clamps. One right there where Tony's working on, 2 right back there, and then 3 right over here, and that's pretty much it. So pretty straightforward. He's almost done. I'm not going to rush him. I'm going to go look for some clamps, and we'll get this new one back on there, get this one out, and get the antifreeze back in there. Again, don't forget to go ahead and plug up the side over there. Again, 19 mil, tighten it down. It's not to the death, guys. It's just going to be a nice little snug turn. So kind of like you're doing in an oil filter. You just kind of tighten it up, give it a little something extra, and you're all done. So don't overdo it there. Alrighty, guys, and just like that, the new one is getting installed. We have our nut that's over here. I'm just going to kind of leave everything a little loose, and that way, if you need to make any movements or adjustments, this way you can kind of wiggle the surge tank a little bit. You can align the bolts in there. ¿Cuántos más te faltan? ¿Este uno? Okay. ¿Quieres el lado largo? Yeah, aquí lo tengo. Alrighty, guys, 13. Ready? Just like that. Chavo's gonna show you guys how it's done. That's it. You don't want to overdo it, guys, because again, this is mounted on top of the plastic radiator itself, so you don't want to overdo it there. Got it? All right, you got it. Got one more to go, guys. Don't forget about the little friend over here on the side. Gonna use a shorty. That's it, all done. So clamp. Of course, we're gonna make sure our coolant level sensor is connected there. If the old sensor itself is good, I would hang on to that in case. You never know when you need it. Sometimes these aftermarket ones, they're reliable, but they may have some issues. So always hang on to it. And I did a video, I think, in the past on how to replace these sensors. They're very, very easy to do. So let's go looking for some clamps. Let's seal this thing up. Let's get the antifreeze back in there. And then that's pretty much a wrap. Guys, so here we go. We have our replacement clamp. It looks like it's going to be a size 24. Let's see if the camera can focus in on that. There we go, 24. So that should be able to fit, let's see here, right over there, just like that. Sorry, let me back it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this clamp, this hose in there. There we go, hold on, almost there. Yeah, it's already in there. It's seated properly. There we go. So you're gonna, shit, I should have put this the other way. So this way I can, I could probably work it from there, guys. If not, I'm gonna pull this down, and I want be able to put my socket over here in this way and tighten her down. I also have two other clamps over here. Looks like it's gonna be the size 6 or size 8. They should work for that. I like to use one again with the shield inside of it. In my opinion, it makes it a lot easier to do. And you're just gonna get your socket, and again, pretty much it. So it's a straightforward shot, something you can easily do yourself. If you see something like that, of course, replace it right away. The last thing you wanna do is get stranded on the road. So I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna show you guys how we do it. Alrighty, guys, so I had to go a size down, and it looks like the size 8 might not work with those hoses that are up on top of the tank itself. So I went with the size 6, and luckily I had these. So again, I like to use the one with the shield. You can back it off a little bit, whatever it is. But let's go ahead and try these out, and let's see how it works. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up really quick. That way some of the air kind of gets its way out. We're gonna top it off, make sure everything is good. Let it go. There you go, guys. There you go. Alrighty, guys, and just like that, everything has been put back together. CAC hose is back in there. Again, you're gonna need 3 clamps. I think it's gonna be a size 10 or 12. I forgot what I said on the video. You're gonna need the size 6s up there for the top. Secure everything. I still need to go ahead and zip tie this. I don't like the way that's gonna be dangling around. That's already secure there. And then we're just gonna go ahead and top her off. We're gonna go ahead and start the truck, make sure everything drops, all the air's out. I'm gonna get a water hose, water this down. I don't want the belts to be screeching. That always sounds terrible. And that's pretty much it, guys. So very simple video. Again, something you can do yourself. Easy peasy. So if you see it leaking, switch it out, and that's it, guys. Have yourself a great day. If you liked the video, if it helps you guys out, give it a thumbs up. Say hi to Chavo.